Richard Branson's planned flight to space on Sunday could be a monumental moment for the fledgling space tourism industry. The flight will take the 70-year-old founder of Virgin Galactic, beating Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin passenger flight by more than a week. The most important finance news today by MasterDigest. G20 finance ministers have backed an historic plan, which will see the multinational companies pay their fair share of tax around the world, BBC News informs. The plan to battle tax avoidance puts in place a minimum global corporate tax rate of 15%. It is likely to affect companies like Amazon and Facebook. So far, 132 countries have signed up to the framework, being championed by the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD. The agreement is a further boost for the plan signed up to by leaders of the G7 major economies in Cornwall a month ago. The G20 finance ministers, who represent 19 countries with the largest and fastest growing economies, as well as the European Union, announced their support following a two-day meeting in Venice, Italy. The UK's Chancellor Rishi Sunak hailed the deal as historic, adding it would ensure the global tax system is fit for purpose in a digital age. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said there would be no turning back. Other experts agree.
Countries usually tax their companies on a rate which is for the large countries between 20 and 30%, right? But the profits made by their companies abroad are not taxed. They are not taxed for the German companies in Germany because normally they should be taxed in the other countries where the German businesses do their business. Except that with globalization and no regulation for the past 30 years, these foreign profits have gone untaxed. And today they are taxed at a rate which is 2, 3, maybe 5, 6%. And what we're doing here is put a safety net and say for the profit made abroad, they should be taxed at least 15%, which is a pretty high rate compared to what we have today, which is close to zero. So that's the difference.
Final approval of the deal is not expected until the G20 leaders meet in Rome in October, however, with some details yet to be ironed out. Paolo Gentiloni, the European Commissioner for the Economy, said the unprecedented tax deal was a bold step that had seemed unlikely a few months ago. Among the unsolved questions is to what degree the global tax should replace levies like the European Commission's planned digital tax, which the EU executives hope will help finance the bloc's post-coronavirus recovery fund. US officials are pressurizing the EU to drop the levy, arguing it will discriminate against American tech companies and undermine the G20 deal, something the Commission vehemently denies. Richard Branson touched the edge of space on Sunday morning, fulfilling a lifelong ambition and grabbing bragging rights from rival Jeff Bezos in the race to open suborbital space to commercial tourism. The 70-year-old Virgin founder and 5 other crew reached a height of around 86 kilometers above the New Mexico desert to break into the lower reaches of space at 9:26 a.m. local time. Their Virgin Galactic spacecraft had been carried aloft under a specially designed carrier plane before firing its rocket to climb at 3 times the speed of sound. The launch followed a 17-year quest marked by delay and disappointment, during which Branson burnt through more than $1 billion of his personal fortune. The flight had been pushed back by 90 minutes after a midnight storm blew up dust from the barren scrubland, delaying the craft's rollout from its hangar at Spaceport America. From on board, Branson called it the experience of a lifetime. The flight comes 9 days before Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is due to go higher in a rocket built by his private space company Blue Origin. The billionaire's personal escapades cap a race to prove that their rocket companies are finally safe for commercial operations, opening up suborbital space as a tourist destination. Branson had been scheduled to join a later Virgin Galactic test flight, but Sunday's ride was hastily announced 2 weeks ago when it looked like he would be beaten to zero gravity by Bezos. Crypto price alert! Bitcoin and Ethereum in danger after shock China dump warning. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices have struggled in recent weeks as a brutal crypto crackdown in China worsens. The Bitcoin price crashed in May, losing 50% of its value, and has remained under pressure since. Meanwhile, Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin, has fallen by more than half, with Ethereum price struggling to hold above the $2,000 per Ether token. Now, after reports former Bitcoin and Ethereum miners in China have been dumping GPUs, suggesting at least some of the decommissioned Chinese mining capacity won't return, analysts have warned crypto prices are in danger. Sotheby's sells diamond for $12.3 million in crypto. Most expensive digital currency transaction ever. Sotheby's sold a Banksy artwork for $12.9 million worth of cryptocurrency in May. Sotheby's just set the world record for the most expensive piece of jewelry ever sold for cryptocurrency, auctioning off a 101.38 carat diamond for $12.3 million of Ether Bitcoin or Ether on Friday. The cryptocurrency sale of the pear-shaped D-flawless diamond named the Key 10138 shows Sotheby's commitment to innovation, the company said. The auction house accepted Bitcoin or Ether through Coinbase, a cryptocurrency exchange that went public earlier this year. It's far from Sotheby's first foray into cryptocurrency. Goldman Sachs executives wrestle with whether to pay salaries for junior investment bankers this year to suit opponents on Wall Street after young staff complained that they were burnt out. Some senior executives have argued that raising salaries during the mid-year would be a dangerous precedent and would break the bank's pay-for-performance mantra, according to people briefed on the discussions. Investment banks have historically avoided significant inflation in fixed salaries, which is more difficult to reduce in periods of vomiting. Instead, they tend to reward staff with bonuses that can vary dramatically from year to year, depending on the performance of individuals and banks in general. Nevertheless, several US banks have recently increased the guaranteed base payment for first-year investment banking analysts, including Citigroup, which last week offered an increase of up to $25,000 to take fixed salaries up to $100,000 a year. JP Morgan Chase and Barclays also raised comparable salaries to $100,000 from $85,000 at the end of June, while Bank of America and Wells Fargo both increased their first-year earnings earlier this year by $10,000. This left Goldman Sachs as one of the last remaining positions on Wall Street, prompting an internal debate over the right course of action. We should not participate in the game of moving salaries up and down every few months, said one person involved in the discussions. If you act like that, you're just coming to mercenaries. We pay for performance at the end of the year. According to Wall Street Oasis, Goldman's first-year analysts and associates are earning less than is typical in the industry. First-year analysts at the bank earn on average just under $86,000 salary plus a $37,500 bonus, leaving the Wall Street average of $91,400 and $39,700 respectively. Some executives are worried that Goldman could lose some of his most promising juniors if he fails to match like JP Morgan Chase, let alone tech companies including Apple and Google. Goldman declined to comment. Facebook and Instagram are making you poor, financial advisor says. More than a third of Americans admit social media has influenced their spending habits, according to a survey from Mint last year. Even though 64% wonder how their friends can afford all the glamorous trips and cars they're posting about online. Obviously, competing with an entire social group will burn through your cash fast. But Brent Weiss, co-founder of the financial advisory firm Fawcett Wealth, said the real mistake is trusting what you see online in the first place. Here's why killing your feed could revive your bank balance. Weiss said it's easy to forget that Facebook and Instagram never tell the whole story. If we hop onto social media, there's this different life that's not reality presented to us. Everyone's having a $50,000 wedding. Everyone's buying a big grand home, says Weiss. But the reality of it is, a lot of people are making very smart, informed decisions. It doesn't mean they're not having nice weddings, but they're balancing that with the rest of their life. People don't post online about their smart investing habits, or when they put more money into an emergency fund, and they certainly don't post about how much debt they're taking on. Weiss said the real problem people have isn't poor planning, it's not having a plan at all. One of the biggest mistakes we all make is that we don't set proper goals, said Weiss. And I say all of us because although I'm a financial planner, I still make mistakes. So what does a proper goal look like? The Certified Financial Planner says to ask yourself 3 questions. What is it? How much is it? And when do I need it? As for social media, Weiss advocates an anti-social policy when it comes to any financial decisions. Turn off your phone, stop thinking about what others are doing, and focus on your own values and goals.